The United States faces a silent threat costing us $120 billion annually and pushing countless species towards extinction. Invasive species are animals, plants, or insects brought unintentionally or deliberately into a new environment where they disrupt the balance of nature. They can reproduce quickly, have few natural predators, and cause significant ecological and economic damage. Invasive species decimate native plant life, devour local animal populations, and wreak havoc on the delicate balance of ecosystems. These non-native species often have no natural predators in their new environments, allowing them to multiply unchecked and outcompete native species for resources. They also introduce diseases that spread rapidly, affecting not just plants and animals, but sometimes even humans. These diseases can be particularly devastating because native species have no immunity or resistance to them, leading to rapid declines in population. This disruption causes food chains to collapse, as key species are wiped out or severely reduced in number. Predators lose their prey, herbivores lose their food sources, and the entire ecosystem can become unbalanced. The ripple effects can be felt far and wide, affecting everything from soil health to water quality. The rate of extinction has soared, with invasive species contributing to a 58% decline in biodiversity in affected areas. This loss of biodiversity means that ecosystems are less resilient to other stresses, such as climate change and pollution. The decline in biodiversity also means the loss of potential sources of medicine, food, and other resources that humans rely on. The consequences of invasion are far-reaching and often irreversible, highlighting the urgent need for effective management and prevention strategies. Globalization has accelerated this crisis. The interconnectedness of our world means that species can travel across continents with ease, often hitching rides on ships, planes, and even in the ballast water of cargo vessels. This rapid movement of species has led to an unprecedented mixing of flora and fauna, with some species finding new homes in environments where they have no natural predators or competitors. The arrival of European colonists brought many invasive species to the Americas, forever altering the landscape. These colonists, often unknowingly, introduced plants, animals, and even microorganisms that thrived in their new environments. Some of these species were brought intentionally for agriculture, hunting, or ornamental purposes, while others arrived accidentally, hidden in the soil of potted plants or clinging to the hulls of ships. For example, the introduction of European starlings, now numbering over 200 million in North America, was inspired by a whimsical desire to have all birds mentioned in Shakespeare's plays present in the U.S. This seemingly harmless act, driven by a romantic notion, has had far-reaching ecological impacts. The starlings, with their aggressive behavior and adaptability, have become one of the most successful invasive species in North America. This seemingly innocent act has had devastating consequences, as these birds outcompete native species and spread diseases. The European starlings have displaced many native birds from their nesting sites, leading to a decline in biodiversity. They also pose a threat to agriculture, causing significant damage to crops. Moreover, the diseases they carry can affect both wildlife and humans, adding another layer of complexity to the issue. The story of the European starling is just one example of how globalization and human actions can inadvertently lead to ecological imbalances. As we continue to move goods and people around the world, it is crucial to be mindful of the potential consequences and take steps to mitigate the spread of invasive species. The high cost of invasive species is a pressing issue that affects not only our environment, but also our economy and way of life. The National Wildlife Federation reports that invasive species cost the U.S. economy approximately $120 billion annually in damages and control efforts. This staggering figure includes the costs of managing these species, repairing the damage they cause, and the economic losses suffered by industries such as agriculture, forestry, and fisheries. Over 6,500 non-native species are established in the United States, wreaking havoc on agriculture, fisheries, and natural habitats. These invasive species outcompete native plants and animals for resources, disrupt ecosystems, and can even lead to the extinction of native species. For example, the zebra mussel, originally from Eastern Europe, has spread throughout the Great Lakes and Mississippi River basin, clogging water intake pipes and outcompeting native mussels. Similarly, the emerald ash borer, an insect from Asia, has devastated ash tree populations across North America, leading to significant economic losses in the timber industry. The impact of invasive species is far-reaching and affects us all, from the food we eat to the natural landscapes we cherish. It is crucial that we take action to prevent the introduction and spread of invasive species to protect our environment and economy for future generations. 7 invasive species wreaking havoc in the U.S. Feral swine, originally from Europe and Asia. These aggressive pigs escaped captivity and now roam wild in 35 states. Feral swine, originally from Europe and Asia. These aggressive pigs escaped captivity and now roam wild in 35 states. They destroy crops, erode soil, and carry diseases that threaten livestock and humans. Burmese pythons. These giant snakes, native to Southeast Asia, were introduced through the exotic pet trade. They are now established in Florida, where they have decimated mammal populations and threaten the Everglades ecosystem. Domestic cats. While beloved pets, outdoor cats are a major threat to wildlife. They kill billions of birds and small mammals each year, contributing to the extinction of many species. European starlings. Introduced to mimic the birds of Shakespeare, these aggressive birds have become an ecological nightmare. They compete with native birds for food and nesting sites, and their droppings can spread diseases. Nutria. Brought to the United States for the fur trade, these large rodents have become a destructive invasive species. They damage wetlands, levees, and infrastructure and carry diseases that threaten public health. Asian carp. Introduced to control weeds and algae in aquaculture, these carp are now spreading through waterways. Their voracious appetites threaten native fish populations and disrupt the aquatic food chain. Gypsy moths. Accidentally released in the 1860s, gypsy moths are a major threat to forests. Their caterpillars defoliate trees, making them vulnerable to disease and increasing the risk of wildfires. The urgent need for action. Invasive species are a serious threat to the environment and economy of the United States. We need to take aggressive action to control their spread, including public awareness campaigns, stricter regulations on importing and releasing exotic pets, and more effective control methods. In this chapter, we will delve deeper into the impact of invasive species on local ecosystems and the measures being taken to control their spread. This will include interviews with experts, case studies, and a detailed analysis of the economic and environmental costs. Pause 2s. Ecologist invasive species can drastically alter the balance of ecosystems. They often outcompete native species for resources, leading to a decline or even extinction of indigenous flora and fauna. This disruption can have cascading effects throughout the food chain. Pause 2s. Voiceover. The Great Lakes have been significantly affected by the zebra mussel, an invasive species that clogs water intake pipes, damages boat engines, and disrupts local aquatic ecosystems. The economic cost of managing zebra mussel infestations runs into millions of dollars annually. Pause 2s. Economist. The economic burden of invasive species is immense. From agricultural losses to damage to infrastructure and the cost of control measures, the financial impact is staggering. For example, feral swine alone cause an estimated $1.5 billion in damage each year in the United States. Pause 2s. Voiceover. Public awareness campaigns and community efforts are crucial in the fight against invasive species. Educating the public about the dangers of releasing exotic pets into the wild and encouraging participation in local control efforts can make a significant difference. Pause 2s. Voiceover. Stricter regulations on importing and releasing exotic pets, combined with innovative control methods such as biological control, habitat restoration, and early detection systems, are essential steps in mitigating the impact of invasive species. Pause 2s. Voiceover. By understanding the profound impact of invasive species and actively participating in control measures, we can help protect our ecosystems and preserve biodiversity for future generations.